All right, so today I wanted to start by talking about a very important study that just came out, actually out of Wuhan, China, again, where this garbage originated from. And this is from Paul Mitchell saying almost 10 million people tested, only one in 30,000 were asymptomatic carriers, 0% of asymptomatic carriers infected their close contacts. Conclusion, asymptomatic transmission in not real, putting masks on asymptomatic healthy people and is useless and lockdowns are pointless. So again, um, you can go check it out if you want as well here. It's right here for you to see. Um, and anyway, they say right in here, um, it's kind of small, but they say all city residents aged 6 years or older were eligible and um, 92% participated, no new asymptomatic cases, and 300 asymptomatic cases. And then they go into some jargon there. There were no positive tests amongst 1,174 close contacts of asymptomatic cases. Again, so asymptomatic, again, I think the debate right now on asymptomatic cases and asymptomatic spread is it literally non-existent or is it so small it shouldn't, such a rare occurrence that we shouldn't be worried about it. Either way, it really doesn't make the lockdown zealots look good. Like I say, either way, it doesn't make the lockdown zealots look good. And this is the second or third thing I brought up within the last week that is completely destroying the idea that asymptomatic spread is driving this. Um, I mean, this is the thing too that nobody seems to want to talk. At least nobody that is in the lockdown zealot camp. People like Fauci said going into this that asymptomatic spread is never a driving factor when it comes to viruses. Never. And when you think about it from a logical perspective, it makes no sense that people that aren't sick are the ones that are driving viruses. That just think about it for 5 seconds from a common sense point of view. That it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. Um, so again, the main point to try to get across here is the whole idea of lockdowns and mask mandates and closing businesses is based off the idea that asymptomatic spread is something we need to be really worried about. And not only is it something that's very rare, it appears that it's pretty much non-existent. Like it's pretty much non-existent. And this is the thing that you know I just can't. It's like I say, it's so boring. Politics these days and the news these days, it's so boring because it's the same stuff over and over again. Um, it's so easy to predict what's going to happen. It's not even funny. Like I wish there was betting odds on this kind of stuff. Like I really wish some of these betting sites would come out with betting odds on this kind of stuff. Like I would make a fortune. Like I would make a fortune because again, if you hear yeah, there's this area is going to lock down for another 28 days or 14 days, what are the odds that it's only 14 days or only 28 days? Like if you bet the over on that, here the odds on the over are going to have to be pretty significant to make people to want to bet the under, right? Like, and this is the problem that none of it is backed up in science. And this is the other thing I always bring up too is that the onus is on these people to provide proof that they're what they want to do makes sense. Because again, if you this is how they justify it. It's only a mask, but no, it's not only a mask. It went from it's only a mask, it's only 14 days to it's only a year. It's only not being able to see your family on Christmas. It's only being forced to get a vaccine. It's only not being able to earn a living. Like, come on, people. Like, I don't understand how people can be this ignorant to believe, oh, it's only that. No, it's not only that. It's literally only people's livelihoods at this point. I don't get how people can be so ignorant. Like I really don't. Um, but anyway, like I say, they're just going to keep moving the goalposts. This is the point I've been trying to drive home over and over again, and it's been right over and over again. And that the politicians are just going to keep moving the goalposts until we don't allow them to anymore. They've made it very clear that that's what they believe. They provided no data to back up what they're doing. Again, they closed down gyms when number one we know that it's being unhealthy is one of the main reasons why you die of this virus, number one. And number two, it destroyed, depression, anxiety is through the roof. And not only that, we know asymptomatic spread is incredibly rare, and we know that it's incredibly rare to spread at gyms. Like, again, like, there is no science or data to back up what we're doing. And it boggles my mind how you talk to everyday people. Some of these people have college degrees, they're very intelligent people, and their levels of thinking on this stuff is comparable to a monkey or a 4-year-old. Like, seriously, how can you be, you have a college degree, you had you know you're an engineer, you're something along these lines, and yet you can't figure this stuff out? Like, seriously, how can you be this stupid? Like, this is what I constantly think to myself when you talk to a lot of these people, that they're almost always somewhat awake. To be fair, they're almost always somewhat awake, but it boggles my mind how more people can't put two and two together on this stuff, because we're being either lied to about everything or grossly misled. There's no scenario, there's no logical scenario to where we are not being either lied to or misled to a very large degree when it comes to this whole situation. It's not possible. It's really not possible. Um, so anyway, the next thing I wanted to bring up here is from Randy Hillier. And this is from a doctor. He's an MD in the GTA, I believe. He says it's Gil Nimni. I don't know how you pronounce that exactly, but anyway, he says, I can't help but shake my head tonight. I just finished my shift at the you know what assessment center at my hospital. Decided to walk through my ER on the way to the change room. Empty. I shake my head at my colleagues who go on Twitter and TV ranting about how our ER is crazy. And then this is from Randy Hillier saying more censorship. Hours after this Toronto doctor tweeted some facts that countered the you know what hysteria, his Twitter account no longer exists. This is what living Ellie looks like. No more lockdowns. Again, like, this is where we're at. That, again, like, this is the reason why the whole you're not a doctor argument is so stupid. It's not even funny. That, again, this guy's a doctor. Not only that, he's working in the you know what area. It's not like he's an eye surgeon or something that's completely irrelevant to this whole situation. So again, if anyone's opinion should be relevant, it's this guy's, right? If anyone's opinion should be relevant, it's this guy's. But again, he points out an opinion that's counter to the narrative, and he gets his Twitter account deleted, right? And then here, where's the news talking about these kind of things? Like, just imagine if this guy tweeted about how, oh, the ERs, it's overflowing. There's people in the hallways dying. Yeah, that would be all over the news, and it's a lie, and it would still be all over the news. But he tweets out something that's the truth, and not only is it nowhere in the news, but he gets deleted on Twitter. That's what we have to deal with these days. And again, speaking of that as well, another similar story here, from Nick Triggle, saying the latest hospital occupancy data has been published in England. It shows in the week ending 13 December, 89% of beds were occupied, leaving 10,500 empty beds. That means hospitals were actually busier this time last year when 95% of our beds were occupied. Again, this is one of the things that the healthcare, for lack of a better word, these crazy people, that they don't tell you is that during flu season, it's normal to have hospitals running at 95, even 100% capacity. The fact that they're not telling people that just goes to show that they are misleading people to a very large degree. And I mean, it is scary to consider just how much we are being misled on this kind of stuff. Now, again, maybe I think a lot of these people genuinely believe the lies. Like, a lot of these people genuinely believe the lies because, again, if you're told a lie often enough, you're going to believe it, at least for most people. So I think a lot of these healthcare workers, they've just been told this lie so often that the hospitals are overwhelmed that they just blindly believe it. Like, they just blindly believe it, right? And again, I've talked to one person who works at a hospital, and I know someone who knows a handful of nurses, and every single one of them have said it's normal. Every single one of them has said it's normal, right? The one, actually, so I shouldn't say that. The one person I do know who said that, or I don't know them, but I know someone who knows them, they don't actually work directly in the hospital, right? They're administrative, right? They don't actually work directly in the hospital, right? And I know the hospital they work at isn't one of the ones that isn't overwhelmed, right? So this is what I think is happening is they've been told this lie so many times that the hospitals are overwhelmed that they just believe it, right? They just believe it. And because there's, you look at Alberta, we have, I don't know how many hospitals we have, but we have to have into the hundreds of hospitals. And we had the one in Edmonton that was at capacity, and people think, oh, that's proof the hospitals are overwhelmed. But it's one out of hundreds. It's less than 1% of them. In Alberta, we have we have the capacity to run 1,000 ICU beds. We have 150 people in the hospital with the virus. It makes no sense. Um, and the last thing I wanted to bring up here is from Matt Walsh. Again, so the NFL, they've gone completely off the deep end. Sports is gone full on social justice warrior, and their ratings have dropped, rightfully so. And again, this last week they decided to, again, for Matt Walsh, a guy who did a drive-by shooting and live streamed himself shooting at the cops. He didn't value his own life or anyone else's. To honor an evil, violent man like this is pure madness. Again, they've gone completely off the deep end, and I personally, I found myself less and less caring of sports recently. It just doesn't, especially with the whole virus situation, it doesn't seem the same even to begin with. And on top of that, they throw in the social justice garbage. Like I've just found myself really not caring all that much. Um, so anyway, that's the last thing I wanted to bring up. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure you check out those links. Follow me on those other platforms. Again, very important. YouTube is going to delete me at some point. They've already deleted multiple videos, so make sure you follow me on those other links. If you want to donate, you can do that as well. Again, I appreciate whatever support I can get. Like I say, check out those links. Stay tuned for more, and have a good day.